Okay, we're rolling. Aloys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Tim. Excited to be here. Appreciate you inviting me on to your podcast.
Yeah, can you tell me and everyone, who you are, how you got here, and what your journey's been?
Yes, so Aloys Scheer, originally French, was born in Paris, and at the age of 8 moved out to Los Angeles. My father was in the movie industry. I grew up in LA, one of the very few that spent over 20 years out there. Got to learn all the different pockets, loved surfing, loved that whole beach culture. I was in the South Bay, as they call it. And then ended up going to school to become a culinarian, kind of a hospitalitarian, as they call it. Ended up going to Johnson & Wales University. It's a private culinary school out in Denver. Spent 4 years there. Ended up getting my culinary degree.
Yes, a little closer. Perfect.
As well as my hospitality degree. And as I graduated, I ended up moving to France. I moved back to France in my adult life. I spent some time in Bordeaux initially, where I worked on a vineyard. And it was kind of a bed and breakfast. So it was like my first taste of working in a different continent. And then B, just really kind of understanding the finer approach towards cuisine and how to take care of a guest on a resort setting. So it was pretty stunning. I was there for about 2 years. While I was there, I met an individual who was working in Paris. And one thing led to another, and I ended up working for that individual. And it was actually a pretty big company. It was a big step from from a mom and pop to a more corporate setting. I was with the Four Seasons Hotels in Paris. It was a 3-star Michelin restaurant and a 5-star ranked hotel with Forbes. At the time, this was 2004, 5, 6. They were ranked the #1 international hotel in the world. And it was my first time working at a 3-star Michelin. So it literally started from the bottom where I came in. The whole program was leadership and training. And I worked with the #1 sommelier in the world. He was ranked in France. His name was Enrico Bernardo. And really kind of got my chops with them. 4 seasons after a year, I was able to kind of continue on within their whole fine dining program. To this day, I want to say they have a 3-star Michelin restaurant, a 2-star Michelin, and a 1-star plus like a high-end bar. So it's a legacy type of place establishment. I ended up transferring with the Four Seasons to go to their Beverly Hills property. It was just kind of home base, and I spent some time there. I ended up spending a little bit of time in Montecito as well, which is Santa Barbara County. And that was just, I never looked back. I kind of continued on with my career. The majority of my career was in California, anywhere from Southern to Central Coast, and then kind of later on spent a little bit of time in Palo Alto.
How old were you when you started at the Four Seasons?
I was about 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 22 years old.
Yeah, what a spot to start and then go from there.
Oh my gosh. It set the tone, truly. I mean, it was a different way of thinking, a different approach, a discipline. A lot very similar to the East Coast that has those similarities, just when it comes to the approach towards fine dining. Growing up on the West Coast, it was definitely way more laid back. So out there, it's just the customs, the precision was fun. It was a great experience. It allowed me to kind of pretty much devote my entire career towards food and beverage. Learned a lot about wine, about the idiosyncrasies of service and how it should be, finer cuisine. I spent some time with Four Seasons. I ended up spending a little bit of time with the Palm Steakhouse, kind of the New York style steakhouse. I was with them for several years as well, where I was overseeing a beverage program. And then I left them to go work with Thomas Keller in Beverly Hills as well. I was a service director for their opening of the Bouchon restaurant. It was a grand opening, another 3 Michelin star chef. And again, it was that was also different, right? Working for management companies between the Four Seasons and the Palm to then going to a chef-driven environment was another fun experience. Met some really great colleagues there, just with pretty high-end pedigrees. The culture there was just, how do we do better each day from the day before? And so that's always just kind of been inbreeded, if you will, ingrained with kind of what I do and how I go about my day-to-day. Kind of fast forward to COVID, if you will, I pivoted into kind of a hospitality development. And so started working with developers where I was helping conceptualize as well as develop different concepts. It was one big developer, the Lamb Group out of New York City, and their trophy hotel was the Virgin Hotel in New York City. They also had the Renaissance brand, but they were working with, again, fine dining chef, Italian chef, who was an ambassador for Urbani truffles. And so it was the opening of a fine dining restaurant and then a club on the 38th floor. And then could only imagine doing it in New York City where, again, just different environment as well, very city driven. The owners and developers are Chinese, and the food and beverage company, they're Italians. I literally felt it was like a mob circle.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And then that led to it kind of paused, to be candid, due to COVID and New York City being the epicenter. So life brought me back to Southern California. They had another project out there, and it was more of like a food hall. And the food hall was on the first floor, 10 different food stalls. Second floor being more of like a house of blues, kind of like a restaurant concept with a stage. And then the third floor being a production kitchen. So I kicked it off for them. Again, at that point, I was working with electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, brand agencies. It was a really fun project. The developer, if you will, Michael Greenberg, CEO of Skechers, was who was launching the project. And so I kind of met him through the network. And as the project came to an end, I realized that it had shifted from like its original concept. And the reality was, I think the mindset was, why do we want to open up 10 restaurants when the entire world right now and the landscape is shifting? So I helped them finish the project. It became more of like a WeWork studio. And I got back into hotels. And getting back into hotels, I joined the Rosewood Hotels and Resorts. I went to Palo Alto. It was owned by Stanford University. And that was a Michelin restaurant. It was called Madeira. And, Palo Alto and that whole area of town, if you will, or of the country, kind of went through a wave of closures throughout COVID. California was pretty extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time, it was just a matter of how do we reopen with that in mind, right? We were requesting people to have passports to come in. Hey, you're vaccinated. It was a little controversial.
Yeah.
And I was there for a bit. We helped reopen it. Great company. They wanted to travel. But all that being said, I'm also a single father. And so at the time, I had to make a decision. Well, if I want to resume and continue raising my son, I'd have to kind of settle somewhere. And so my parents retired out in Bozeman about 9 years ago.
Okay.
So I'd always come out to Bozeman. And while I was out here through a friend who was working at the Armory Hotel, she indicated that they were looking for a food and beverage expert. And so one thing led to another. And literally after casually coming out here for a weekend, that weekend kind of decided the last 5 years for me. I got a job offer, decided to move out. I left the company I was with in Palo Alto. And since then, at the time, my son was about 9, 10. He's like a ski expert now.
I was going to ask how old is he? Because what a cool transition and a spot for him to be growing up now. Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story. That one simple action helps these businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this show keep going. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. Now back to the show.
That was truly like why it was a life decision. Did it for my son, did it for the family. It was an opportunity to get closer to my parents as they're getting older, and also for my son to kind of just find some roots in a place where literally your whole world could be within a 10-minute vicinity. Whereas where I grew up, it's, in LA, it was a whole different world.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that for him. I wanted him to enjoy the outdoors, to be in a smaller town, to meet amazing people that have great values. And so we've been doing that here for coming on 5 years. It's been fun. Yeah, he's embraced skiing. He's on the ski team. He's on the hockey team. He was playing football as well for a little bit, so I've kept him busy.
Did he do any snow sports prior to coming here?
Never.
Very cool.
Yeah. So he took it. He did his first backflip last season, so it was pretty neat.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about yourself? Are you doing snow sports?
I snowboard.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. I've been snowboarding ever since my Denver days.
Oh, cool.
Over 20 years ago.
Nice.
And but he
you doing any backflips or no?
I cannot do backflips.
I can't either. So
yeah. But keeping up with them is definitely difficult. But for me, that's been therapy. Just kind of enjoying the outdoors and going out to the mountains. It's been great.
So how's the food scene and I want to ask you a question for that. Is all the food, all the different, Four Seasons and everything, has there always been that element of lodging with most of the places you've been?
There has. That's a great question. And it's very different. Wherever I've worked, it's always been more of a hotel setting. I always kind of found myself to be more of a hotelier than a restaurateur. But within the hotels, I found it that it was fun to be able to work within these environments because the budgets were pretty much unlimited. So really, creativity was on the forefront of each project that I was a part of. And, that's ranging anywhere from working a restaurant on the 73rd floor in downtown LA, where we had over 1,200 SKUs for wine. And you could think about any vertical. Sure enough, we probably had it. And worked with a lot of master sommeliers, and where we were able to do these fun, elaborate dinners. The path to growth was a little bigger and greater. It was more stable of an environment, very more corporate. And so for me, I kind of thrived in that environment. In fact, and so, Kimpton, the Armory, part of the Intercontinental Hotel Group, that was my third stint at the time in joining IHG, third hotel, if you will. I'd worked at one of their hotels in Santa Barbara, another one in downtown LA, and now here at Bozeman, here we are. And so it was a fun way to kind of come back within the company. Kimpton has always just been avant-garde when it comes to their food concepts, their cocktail programs. It's evolved, certainly, especially since, they got bought out by Intercontinental Hotel Group before they were just Kimpton as its own. And they kind of revolutionized the whole boutique hotel luxury segment, where, again, they're building a hotel around a food and beverage concept. That was kind of what they were known for. And the individuals running, from the top were, again, more just experts, master sommeliers, and individuals that had worked with Ian Schrager, who kind of revolutionized boutique hotels as well. And so it was really fun to kind of be a part of that. Coming out here was certainly a learning curve, just in the sense that we're a smaller community. And so being able to embrace the community and to tie in this concept into what the community wanted was probably our biggest challenge, for one. And then two, at the same time, finding kind of the right staff. Feeling, it's about a year after COVID at this point. So the entire labor market and landscape had shifted. Where, from the servers and the bartender world, it became more of like a gig economy. People work for you, should it be convenient for them and their timeline. So that's one. Two, MSU is around here, to say the least.
Hmm.
And they're a huge pillar to the community. And, our workforce, a majority of it comes from MSU. And so they're known for agriculture and engineering. So not a lot of them are used to working in cocktail bars or restaurants. And so it was interesting to just be able to recruit and the pool of individuals we were recruiting from. And the most interesting part really was just a matter of making sure that we integrated them correctly into the hotel. Training was a big piece of onboarding.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to ask you something about that. And I also want to back up. So essentially what you were saying, correct me if I'm understanding this right, the hotel, having the restaurant connected with the hotel creates a lot more room, a lot more financial room to do more with the restaurant just because of the margins of the hotel or maybe the demand for the restaurant because of the hotel.
Yeah, correct. I mean, for the most part, restaurants were always more of like an amenity to the hotel. And so that's what made it fun and kind of inspiring in terms of how you wanted to position yourself and what you can do and so forth. But it's changed now, of course, right? Like the economy and the returns on what individuals want, and everything's got to be profitable. And so it's also allowed me to be more nimble in terms of, hey, if we need to shift an aspect of the concept, we can, and we could probably do it on a dime. Versus if you're an individual restaurant, could potentially take a little longer, right?
Yeah,
just because you're dealing with brand identity and what's already been set in place.
Yeah, and I guess your margin for error is much smaller when it's just the restaurant, and that's the lifeblood.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was with the Armory for about 2.5 years. Great experience, great ownership, great corporate team. And while I was there, I met an individual who was running a tasting room here in Bozeman. And it was initially called Blend. It was a small winery where he was sourcing his wines from the Pacific Northwest. And he was a chef as well in his past. And 5 years in, he was about to walk away from the whole project just because he was double downing on a new location. He had met a new partner and ultimately was moving to Vancouver, Washington, where he had also opened up an additional 2 tasting rooms. And so through conversation, through the network, ended up meeting him. And it was one of those opportunities where I had attempted to kind of go and venture out on my own prior, but there's always kind of like a hurdle. And whereas here is very much happenstance. Everything kind of just happened seamlessly. It was a turnkey project where the idea would be to take over this winery and to eventually rebrand it to kind of my roots and who I am and who I've become over the course of the last 20 plus years within the industry that I'm in. And so I've created La Brasserie. It's a French bistro in Wilson, right next door to Berkshire Hathaway, in the downtown air building. This January will be 2 years that I've had it. I initially took it over, and part of the acquisition was inventory, was the Valo wine brand. And what it was prior was more of a tasting room where, again, it was small bites paired with wine. And then I took it over and then added kind of a larger, bigger menu, all focused on French cuisine that paired well with domestic wines. And so that's been quite the adventure. I've worked restaurants before, and the creative side of things here has been ever evolving. Also, just kind of learning the community and what they want and their palate, and what can I do to continue to be an ambassador, quite frankly, not only for myself, but for the community when it comes to fine dining, if you will. We're approachable. You could come in, you could have various experiences. at the restaurant. We're open Monday through Saturday, 4 to close. And whether it's a cheese and charcuterie board you want to come in for, or you want to come in for a 3-4 course dinner menu, you can do that as well. So it's been fun. It's ever evolving. I'm currently working on a new wine label as we speak, where it's going to be a fun wine to be able to launch here for the community. The way I've set it up is we have a production facility in Four Corners where we source our wines. We source our wines from the production facility from, Columbia Valley and Willamette Valley. And we'll bring in our bulk wine. We'll finalize the blend. We'll bottle, we'll keg, and label in Four Corners. And we'll serve it in the Bistro. And then ultimately with my license, that allows me to, I've got a winery manufacturing license, which allows me to be open from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. if I wanted to be, which I'm not. It's too many hours in a day.
Yeah. Some people that like wine might disagree.
Right. But it's interesting because it gives me leverage. Whereas I know tasting rooms for breweries, they're very limited on hours, and you can only have 3 drinks, if you will. And so they have to close by 8 p.m. and they can only open at a certain time. So fortunately, we don't have those hurdles. But what the license also allows me to do is have a direct-to-consumer club. It also allows me to sell wholesale for various accounts. And so I've been able to kind of take that as leverage for my whole concept.
How does the club work?
The club, it's a monthly subscription. There are 3 tiers, 1, 2, or 3 bottles per month for a certain amount. And when you come in, you get recognized. So there's recognition perks for being a part of the club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so with this new label, I may kind of shift the club into more of a quarterly approach. And then as new releases come by, it'll be an opportunity for me to kind of really jump behind the brand and the release for what it is. So that'll be a great addition to the restaurant. In addition, as far as the restaurant, from a private dining element, because we're a smaller space, we're 32 seats. We've had the capacity to have dinners anywhere from 32 to 40. And it's been great. I think it's been really well received within the community. We've partnered with some celebrity chefs, if you will, I'd like to call them, just based on their pedigree and kind of where they've gone in their careers. And I've done that once a quarter. And that's my Dîner des Amis series. Ultimately, it's dinner with friends. And it's been a fun journey, honestly. I mean, so it's, kind of excited about what's to come. There'll be an announcement that's coming here shortly regarding the new wine label. And then there may be a couple of other items that will be released soon here as
Cool.
well.
So you've got a regular in-house chef, but then you bring in these celebrity chefs for certain events?
I do.
Very cool.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole idea is just to kind of give a taste to the community of, hey, what other cuisines are out there and how can we blend it in with what we're doing and have a French influence. Again, I've always kind of looked at it as collaborations and a way to kind of continue to extend the palate and the tasting, and kind of shows the leverage that we have as a small bistro around town. So for me, because again, I'm limited in terms of my beverage offerings, I try to ultimately balance it out with various culinary offerings.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And how's the community, responded to this type of food and this cuisine?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, quite frankly, I mean, they've made me for who I am today. I was a part of the farmers market this past summer, which was great exposure. It was just another opportunity to kind of showcase and who we are and what we are. We're on Wilson and Babcock more so than Maine.
Mm-hmm.
So yet we are so close to downtown, yet we're also a little further than we should be or need to be. But it's been fun. It's been a fun project, and every opportunity I can, I'll certainly put my best foot forward and kind of introduce individuals to what we do. It's a hidden gem, to be candid.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's right there. It's like,
Yeah,
it's half a block off of Main Street.
I know. It's the furthest half block I've ever had to walk.
It's all about location, right?
Yeah, literally.
What can you say about the food that you guys have on your menu?
It's French influenced. I grew up with that kind of growing up. I want it to be comfort food. We're trying to kind of refine it with just modern techniques. But again, when people think of a French bistro, yeah, you've got your classics on there. And you could also come in and have just small bites. So hopefully that kind of answers it.
Yeah, and I've had some of the small bites because we were at the Scout Guide,
Yeah.
and I know we met Valerie there again, and I need to come sit down and have dinner there. It's on my list, but I haven't done it yet. So,
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, it's like plan on me being there at some point. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's your opinion on the variety of food and the different, the different options here in Bozeman for being, in the middle of the country in Montana?
Yeah. I mean, Bozeman, we're punching above our weight class,
Mhm.
100%. There's some beautiful restaurants out there within the community, great chefs that are extremely dedicated, that are world renowned, legacy restaurants as well that have really kind of established Bozeman for who they are. So it's definitely a competitive landscape, to say the least. It's you've got to be resourceful to be here in this climate. Rents are not cheap, and cost of living as well, especially with everything we've gone through here these last couple years, just from a political standpoint as well as economics. And so it's you've got to be nimble and you've got to be thinking ahead. And so to be a part of the restaurant climate, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun. Everyone's been really well welcoming, if you will, and has received me pretty well.
Yeah, and back to what you were saying too, that like the employment here, it's the same thing. We're in the middle of the country. Most of the people came here to ski and snowboard.
So I found the trick is you need to be flexible, right? And I think just managing with transparency, supporting people's cause. Hey, I'm here. I want to go ski. If it's a snow day or a plow day, as they say, you may get a couple call outs.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah, and I know you were talking about the different paces of maybe the East Coast, West Coast, outside the U.S. And I'm from the East Coast. I grew up, very rural upstate, but there's a different pace there, and it's like you do have to be flexible. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah,
because there's different priorities in different places.
There are. I mean, you could really make a beautiful career being a server at a fine dining restaurant. I mean, you're in the six figures. And so, depending on what you want, the beautiful part about just being able to serve or bartend in those establishments is the flexibility that comes with it. Literally, there is some homework to do outside of work, just to kind of be on top of your game. But ultimately, if it's more of a lifestyle, it's a passion, and you're able to do that as well as, hey, I need to take 3 weeks off because I want to go snorkeling in the Caribbeans. That's certainly something you can do.
Yeah.
And come right back and then start making money again.
Yeah. What would you say is some big things you've learned, managing these different projects and owning this restaurant? Is there anything big that sticks out as far as managing people and these businesses in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think patience is key. Rome was not built overnight, as they say. It's a true statement. Secondly, just a matter of you've got to really understand people. You've got to listen to people as well. Those are some key points in just being able to operate and to kind of make a name for yourself as well as for what people want.
How about the contrast in being in Bozeman and Southwest Montana, being in a much smaller community? How much different has that been versus, a massive city with millions of people?
Well, your target market is it's a smaller pool. And so the amount of chances you have aren't as relevant as if you're in a bigger city. And so you've got to be able, like I said, if you could go ahead and listen to what people want and you're able to deliver and you're able to deliver at a high level, I think you'll be able to gain a loyal following.
Yeah.
So quite frankly, that's been probably our biggest challenge, if you will, is just we're a niche cuisine. And so being able to position ourselves out there where people want to come in a couple times a week, it's difficult, right? As well as the price points, you've got to be sensitive to where you are, the competitive landscape, and how you position yourself in the marketplace has got to be thoughtfully researched.
Was that a big contrast from, let's say, what you wanted the restaurant to be to what the community wanted it to be, or has that been relatively in line?
It has been in line. Yeah. I mean, I think initially I started off where it was more of like a tasting menu format, and then I've evolved into more an a la carte options where I still have a tasting menu if someone wants one. I feel that's been well received. People come in, not everyone wants to have a 3 or 4 course menu. And so I think that's a win on our behalf. And so now it's just a matter of like, how do you work and develop the volume, right? Especially in a smaller bistro. Out here, I feel there's one wave of diners on a nightly basis, meaning you're usually only going to get about like one rush in the evening, maybe a rush and a half, depending on the day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned you got the new brand of wine. Is there anything big on the horizon for you or the restaurant or anything?
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the process of finalizing a partnership with a culinary director as well.
Very
So
cool.
the name's going to be announced soon, but ultimately with the new wine label, where again there's a partnership there with a master sommelier and then a culinary director. For me, I'll be kind of like full throttle. I want to be able to offer the community an outstanding experience. So best way to do it would be with great wines and excellent food, kind of consistently done. Up to now, as far as the food and the way I've kind of developed it, it comes literally from my pedigree. I've been kind of a lone man on the project, so to speak. And so I'm realizing, hey, the bigger the team, the better the ideas. And so excited to kind of see how that unfolds.
I know you brought up MSU earlier. I just heard maybe whispers of this, or that they're going to have some hospitality programs coming on there.
They are. Yeah. MSU has been ever evolving. In fact, ever since I started the restaurant 2 years ago, I actually started teaching at Montana State. So I teach in their hospitality program currently.
Very cool.
Yeah. At this point, it's been 3 semesters. 2 of those semesters have been in economics and revenue management for hospitality management. And then the other semester was facilities management. They're currently building out the hospitality program where Jake Jabs is the business school will be taking over the majority of it. But what's unique is that not only do they have a hospitality program, they're also affiliated with the Gallatin Culinary School, which is based on campus.
Mm.
So you could go in and have a degree in sustainable hospitality. You could have a degree in agriculture that's related to hospitality, or you could even go in and really focus in on culinary. And so, love the fact that the business school is taking it over. There's a huge business acumen that needs to be understood when getting into hospitality, and it ranges. Very many different universities go a different way about it, where the agricultural school will actually have the hospitality program. Business will have it. Culinary will sometimes be on its own. And so here, I think they're doing it in the right way. Not only that, they're also in the process of building out a hotel on campus that will be led by students. So to really kind of give them a hands-on experience. The guest speakers coming on board, the talent of the instructors and the professors, really it's all encompassing. Everything's strategically done and kind of they're looking ahead. So it's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's exciting for you too as a restaurant owner, because
completely
more talent and potential coming.
We need more enrollments.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's been fun, and the program has grown threefold in the last few years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I told you my brothers, and you can correct me, do you say he is a level 2 sommelier or he has his level 2 sommelier?
Yeah, he has his level 2 accreditation.
I'd love to, if possible, if you're around over the Thanksgiving week, I'd love to introduce you guys.
Yeah.
You can get him to come work for you, and then he can work for me when he's not working for you.
I love that.
He probably won't leave where he's at, but
Right.
it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, when I post this, I'll put the link to your restaurant and anything you're doing, and I think it's very cool what you're doing. And it was, when I was there for that scout guide party, it's just cool to just feel the energy in the place and all the different foods that your chef was working on. And it's a cool vibe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's been it's been a dream come true, to be honest, to be able to open your restaurant, and 2 years in, still kind of figuring out like where are we and what do we want to do and how do we kind of continue to grow. And so it's exciting to be a part of it. Thanks for inviting me to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for coming here, and we're glad to have you in town, and you're just adding more great food and culture to the community.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode, along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.